Hey, good morning. It's John here. This past weekend, I went and watched The Sound of Freedom, and I appreciated the fact that that movie was shot and videoed in a redeeming quality. They didn't tell the story from the dark side, but at the same time, at the end of that movie, they share some statistics, and I was sickened by what I saw on the screen and what I read there, that America is the number one consumer of sex trafficking. I've heard for as long as I've lived in West Texas that West Texas in the oil field has a high level of trafficking due to its location to the border and to I-20 and I-10. It made me pause and think about the industry I work in and the people I work around, and it made me thankful for the men and women I have the privilege to connect with on a daily basis. But it also made me extremely sad that there is just this last month here in Midland, 30 children were saved from a sex trafficking ring in Midland, Texas. It made me sad that that exists in our world, and it stirred something up in me. And so I want to read you the words of Jesus from Luke 4. He's quoting Isaiah 61. So I'm going to read it from Isaiah 61, but Jesus is reading this in Luke 4. He says, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, for the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and to proclaim that captives will be released and prisoners will be freed. He has sent me to those who mourn that the time of the Lord's favor has come, and with it the day of God's anger against their enemies. To all who mourn in Israel, he will give a crown of beauty for ashes, a joyous blessing instead of mourning, festive praise instead of despair. In their righteousness they will be like great oaks that the Lord has planted for his glory." I don't know what to do with the situation that the Sound of Freedom is talking about with the sex trafficking here in America, and the fact that America is the number one consumer of that. But I do know this, that Jesus Christ is the anchor and the hope for our souls, and that he has come to set the captives free, literally set them free, and spiritually set them free. And so whether you feel bound up in your own sin, or whether you know somebody who's physically bound up in this slavery, Jesus is the hope of glory. He is the King of Kings and the liberator for both you and me and them. And so there's an organization called the Operation Underground Railroad, and that's what the movie is about Tim and his life and how he got started in founding that organization. And I want you to join me in supporting that organization. It's called Our Rescue, and I'll leave a link in the description below. But again, I don't have the answers for how I can practically get involved. I know I'm going to start by supporting and I'm going to start by sharing the message of Jesus, that there is freedom in Christ, both spiritual freedom and physical freedom. And as for me and my house, we're going to fight this fight. And so I pray that you join me, and I pray that you become aware of the situation around us here in West Texas, right here in Midland. Listen, I love you. I appreciate you guys. And if you need anything from us, please don't hesitate to reach out. But we're praying for you. We're praying for these children. We're praying for these victims of sex trafficking. And the hope of Jesus is what we anchor ourselves on. So thank you, and God bless.